Javier Mendez joins me now, head coach of AKA, to the likes of Daniel Cormier, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and obviously Cain Velasquez, to name but a few. Javier, my friend, great to chat with you as always. How are things?
Things are good now. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, my friend. We haven't caught up since the fight. Obviously, I was over there in Las Vegas back in October. Obviously, the dust has settled a little bit now. Dana White's come out with comments again in the last fortnight saying that he wants to see the rematch next. I just want to ask you, before we get to that actual question itself about a potential immediate rematch, just the whole thoughts on the fight, Khabib's performance, and everything that went down.
The performance, I was very impressed with Conor. I was very impressed with the game plan. They came out and they did what I thought. It didn't work, but it was the best attack. I thought he was going to do his normal stay back, and he didn't. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, people are underestimating his ground game. And if you look at the first round, Khabib wasn't able to do any damage whatsoever in the first round because Conor's ground game has gotten that much better and is that good. So it's just a matter of wearing him down, And if his ground wasn't all that good, there's no way in heck that Khabib would have been able to not do a lot of damage like he did in the later rounds when he's getting a little bit more tired, And so a lot of that has to do with how he really is. Make no mistake about it. I've always said he's a great fighter. I still believe he's a great fighter. And he may very well be the second best guy because I do consider Khabib the best. But regardless, he's a great fighter.
Yeah, we spoke about that years ago, that, 3-4 years ago, you told me Khabib is the best fighter you've ever worked with. In terms, I'm a little bit surprised you've maybe said that. I thought Conor's performance, some of the things he did maybe in the opening round and the second round, were maybe playing into Khabib's hands a little bit through a few kicks, things like that early on.
I was thinking they were going to stay back, look to counter us. We were working 95% of our game plan was for what he was doing, what he did in the previous fights. 95% of our game was to do that. And he didn't do that. He came at us. So I'm like, okay. So that was very good on Kavanaugh's part. They did a great job there. So I said, damn it. But again, when you have a person like Khabib, and you have to be his coach to understand how strong he is mentally, and how he can adapt to anything. And the other thing too, people underestimated, and Conor did too, is his stand-up. His stand-up is much better than people give him credit for. And hey, listen, when he fights Alaquinta for the title, everybody's talking about, he fought the blah, 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 blah. And I said Alaquinta was the toughest guy stylistically and a lot tougher than people give him credit for who was available to fight. To me, Al was the toughest guy. And I said that on record. And so Khabib goes out there and beats Al every round decisively, probably biggest lopsided decision in the title division history. But still, and then people didn't give Khabib the credit he deserved until now. Everybody knows when Alaquinta just beat Kevin Lee. And, now everybody realizes, oh, shit. How great is Khabib now? Really, think about it.
Yeah.
How great is he? And I mean, the only person that ever took a round from him was Conor, and he took the third round. He took the third round when Khabib wanted to stand with him, and Khabib did it on purpose just to show him, look, I can stand with you if I want to. But the thing that people don't understand is Khabib is evolving all the time, and I say it all the time. Every time he comes to me, he used to come 1 month before, so there wasn't much I could do as far as getting him ready at the technical level. But now that I have more time to prep him. So every time he's been coming 2 months prior to the fight, I'm able to make him better because we're working on the technical side. And this is what we did on this one, like we did the previous others, where he comes 2 months out. So he's improving all the time. Don't expect the same Khabib that you saw in this last fight with Conor to be the next guy because he's still improving.
Well, how far has he come then in terms of, obviously the area thing where, you've even said it there, people get surprised with how good Khabib's stand-up is. Is that the main area where you've seen the most improvements from Khabib?
Oh, yeah. No, when he came over, he was a beast on the ground. Nobody beats him on the ground. Nobody his weight beats him on the ground. Nobody.
I agree.
Nobody even comes close. Nobody comes close, and I kid you not. The guy that does the best with him is his training partner, Islam. Islam does the best with him. but even he gets smashed too. When Khabib puts on the afterburners, he smashes everybody. He's just another level, man. And I don't understand. Well, I'm sorry. That's correct. People don't understand what I mean when I say another level when it comes to him on the ground and his mental strength. It's incredible. He has got mental strength from hell. I've never seen that man longer than 15 seconds on the bottom ever. Since 2012, if someone overturns him, he's not there more than 15 seconds before he's out or on top of them or up standing. I mean, he's amazing. I've never seen that from anybody. None of my guys.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. He's absolutely phenomenal on the ground, and once I think anyone's there with him, they're in a lot of trouble. That's an interesting one then. Al Iaquinta, Conor McGregor. For me, probably the two toughest fights Khabib's had in terms of the last couple of years. Which one was a harder puzzle to solve then in terms of Al Iaquinta and Conor McGregor for Khabib and you?
Oh, Conor, hands down.
Why so?
No, because Conor got the speed, he's got trickiness, and Conor basically, he can finish us. He can finish us. Al, not so much. Al's a great fighter, but not. I don't put him in Conor's level. No way. Yeah. I actually don't put anybody in Conor's level, because Conor's on the level of his own too. He's a great fighter, man.
Yeah.
I like watching him fight. He's impressive. I just wish he attacks people. He just use, family, religion, and country. Just do other things. He's such a great guy at talking that, man. But again, that's him. That's his business. That's what he wants. But that's it. That's my only complaint on him is I wish he wouldn't do that. That's it.
Yeah, that seemed to touch a nerve with you. I was going to ask you about that and what was said and what went on in the whole build up to the fight. Something obviously that you've spoken out about in the last number of weeks since the fight, that it was something that you even said if he talked about your father or along those sort of lines that you wouldn't take too kindly, and you might have even gone a step further than that. Just your general feeling about that.
Yeah.
It's something that you think that needs to come out of Conor's game and maybe just focus on his fighting, correct?
Yeah, but you know what? That's his plan. Conor's a master at agitating you and getting at the hardcore. And I prepared Khabib for all of that. So as soon as the fight was matched, he talked about what he was going to do. I told him he's coming after your father, coming after your religion. He's coming after probably your country, and probably going to come after your manager. And I said he might come after me, but I had a hard time with him coming after me because I never talk bad about anybody. Yeah. So, and I'm not talking bad about him. So it's kind of hard to get stuff on me. I thought maybe Koscheck stuff, but that's stupid because it doesn't look good. So no, he's a master at what he comes out with. So I wasn't sure about me, but I thought he might have, but he didn't because he did his research. Yeah. Obviously, there's really nothing to say, No, he's great at what he does, but I just think personally, doesn't need to touch those areas because he's so good at it and people love him anyways, and he can do the things, attack Khabib, attack his teammates, attack all those guys, but just the family thing, it's a hard one, because like I said, myself personally, I don't know if I could have handled it. I probably wouldn't be able to handle it. Yeah. Probably not.
We understand that it's a business, and Conor does the things, and we did little conversations before we came on here about obviously mixed martial arts is a huge business, a huge entertainment side to it as well. You understand the fact that he's trying to sell a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, and you know what, and there's no guidelines to what he can and can't do. So, guess what? If he wants to do it again, he's going to say, "F Mendez, I'm doing it again." And hey, he's got a right to do that. That's his thing. But I'm saying the repercussions, I don't think he feels too comfortable going to Russia, or any of those other countries that he talked about. I don't think he'd feel comfortable. Why say those things when all of a sudden now you got to watch your back going to those places?
Yeah,
I sure as hell don't want that. That's like, screw you.
Yeah.
I don't want, one day I want to go over there, and now I can't.
Yeah.
Because I said something, forget it.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
I agree.
He don't care, but I would care.
I wouldn't fancy walking down a town in the Caucasus after saying things like that personally myself either. Yeah. I just want to get your thoughts. Obviously, Miles Price was over helping out with you guys. He was over in a training camp in AKA. He's from Team Rhino here in Ireland. Did he help you out? Did he prepare with Khabib in the build-up to that fight as well?
No, zero.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay.
Zero. He gave no insight, no nothing, and I didn't ask him. That would be stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not putting Miles in a situation like that where he looked upon us as whatever. No, Miles came as a student. He came to learn, and he's a great guy. He did a lot of learning, and man, I love Miles. He's
a good kid.
To me, he's part AKA now, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care where he's from there. He's still part of AKA. He's always going to be welcome with us. Nothing but respect for him and his girl and his brother. Totally class act. You know, and Miles knows it's a fight game, you know, and build up the fight. And, you know, actually, Miles, I think, builds up the fight properly. You know, if you look at his beef with people, and I guess it's Connor's people, I'm not sure, but it's done right. It's like them against them, that type of mentality. That's cool.
Yeah, Miles used to fight in SBG a number of years ago, and obviously moved to Team Rhino. But okay, yeah, Javier, I want to ask you obviously about, you know, Dana made those comments as I referred to at the start of the interview here about him wanting a rematch with Khabib and Conor McGregor more or less straight away. Obviously, we have to hear from Nevada what gets done there in terms of suspensions for both guys and ramifications from the incident in Las Vegas back in October. What are your thoughts? Obviously, you know, it's going to come down to, I think, a lot to how much money the UFC are going to make from Khabib and Conor's next fights. And this does very much seem the money fight and the way Dana White is thinking.
Well, you know, okay, this is the thing. Come September 29th, we'll know what's going to happen. And Khabib may very well have one idea, and I may very well have other ideas, which is usually the case. But usually the person that has the best pulse on what Khabib's going to do is his father. Nobody else has that closeness to him. That you know, I think after his father, it's Ali or me or Ali.
Yeah.
But as far as what he's going to do or what he wants to do, it's going to come down to basically what Khabib wants. And, you know, it might not matter what the UFC wants with the Conor and him rematch. But, okay, so let's just go on that. It doesn't matter what I say, but what I want is obviously I look at this as more of a prize fight than I do sport, you know. So I want the biggest prize fight. So the biggest prize fight, hands down, no comparison, is Conor. So obviously I want a rematch because that's what this is, the biggest prize fight, right? And because of what happened on the last time, there's more interest now on the second one, if there's a rematch to be had. So for me, I would rather have that because it's a prize fight. It's who's the biggest prize fight. Well, that's the biggest money fight to make, you know, and bar none in MMA, there is no other one that will make as much money for Khabib than the Conor and him rematch. So that's reason I would want that. But Khabib may want a different thing. Khabib may want Tony. You know, it's hard to say because, you know, January 29th hasn't happened, and we don't know what they're going to do, how much they're going to suspend them, how much money. So it's all going to detail on that. But from my point of view, I would want a rematch for the prize fight. It's a bigger, 3 or 4 times as much.
Definitely, I agree with you in terms of that. Obviously, you know, Tony's a guy who's there, you know, 12 fights unbeaten on the bounce UFC lightweight record. Have you spoken to Khabib and have you spoken to his father Abdulmanap about his next move?
I've never ever spoke to his father about any moves. I've met his father when he came down to my gym. He's an awesome, great trainer, very respectful. I love the guy. He's an incredible guy. but I don't speak to him because we don't understand each other. So I never had conversations with him other than hello, you know. And he observed me watching the whole month. He was there watching me train his son, and obviously, you know, Khabib's still with me, so it's with a father's approval. Yeah. So that part's great. You know, but as far as like we were talking about the Tony, I mean, obviously, from a sports point of view, nobody deserves that fight more than Tony. From a sporting, you know, from a true sport. Yeah,
it doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately.
No, it never works out that way. It never works out that way. No matter what, even when Khabib was the rightfully guy to fight for the title, and all of a sudden Conor fights Eddie Alvarez instead. It was like, what? You know, it's like Khabib was in the short end of the stick of that one. So, hey, you know, welcome to the short end of the stick, whoever gets it, whoever thinks they deserve it. And this is not about, you know, Butts and seats, buddy. That's what this comes down to. Butts and seats.
We know that, and butts and seats. And, is this the time the UFC, obviously, we've Khabib now who's at the height probably. And probably, after this fight, if this fight does happen again, that, he's going to get a further boost into the mainstream in the promotion of what kind of athlete, and his popularity is going to soar even more. But, Conor's sort of reaching that level now where there's not an awful lot further he can go in terms of, mainstream popularity and where his brand is at the moment. Do you think this is an ultimate time for the UFC to strike while the iron is hot? And, even potentially, I've been seeing this a little bit lately, do a stadium show and get that stadium show over the line with these two guys, headlining that main event.
Yeah. Now's the time, to be honest with you, because we don't know with Conor. He's so rich now with his Proper 12. I hear he's doing fantastic. He's a great image, bro. He appears to be a hell of a businessman. So now's the time to strike while the iron's hot. I say Cowboy Stadium, because that still would do the pay-per-view numbers. They would do everything. I think now's the time to consider doing something like that.
Well, that's what I've been thinking, Javier, because I've seen Conor quite a lot in Dallas Cowboy Stadium recently, tweeting a little bit from there, and Dana's always wanted to do it there. There was talks of GSP and Hendricks a number of years ago. So Dallas does seem the place that this fight could potentially happen.
Yeah, it would be the right place for a stadium show. The right place.
Who wouldn't want to see that?
It would be the right place if build the Raiders Stadium in time, but that's won't be built in time. Yeah,
that's not going to be built in time. 2020, I think the Raiders Stadium's going to be built on. Listen, if the rematch is to take place, we've obviously mentioned Tony. There's a number of options of what Dana wants to do. Do you see any changes in an outcome and a result?
Of course, for me, I don't, because I have to believe in my
of course,
and I believe that we'll come out victorious again. I personally don't think it'll be easy, because he's not easy. I think like I say it again, he's a great fighter, and if you respect him for who he is, being a great fighter, then you can mess up and you're going to lose. And so I'm not planning on losing, and Khabib's not planning on losing. So he'll get the respect he deserves, by training super, super hard for him, if that match was to happen. But again, Khabib's not about the money. I may be about the money. His manager may be about the money, but Khabib is not. So whatever happens is not going to be due because Khabib wants the money. No.
Yeah.
Khabib is not about the money. It's me. I'm wishing. If I'm asked, what do I want? Well, I want the money. If you ask Ali what he wants the money. Of course, because we understand it's a prize fight. Khabib is more about honor. He's more about the loyalty thing. So I don't know. I mean, I would hope that the prize fight wins, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens when that time comes.
I think we'll see it by the end of 2019 anyway, regardless if it's his next move or not.
Yeah, what's his next move? Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Okay, I just want to ask you a couple more things. Obviously, DC, what a year it's been for him in 28, now kicking on into 2019. Just your thoughts on DC. Dana has said that he reckons he's a long more time left in the octagon. You've gone out and said that you want DC to retire after March 30th. What are your thoughts?
Actually, that he couldn't make the deadline for his birthday. So right now, there's just waiting to see what's going on with offers are on the table, and I heard Brock potentially is not available to don't know when. So I don't know if DC, because he's the boss, right? I could say, oh, DC's going to retire. Oh, I said it. DC didn't say it. I did. All of a sudden, DC said, no, screw you. I'm not retiring. I'm fighting. So it's like, hey, he's the boss. But I think the ideal situation would be for me for prize fighting. You got to remember how my mind thinking. He's already the champ. So I'm looking for what's the best move for him. What's the best deal? Well, hey, if you're going to fight somebody, for me, it's like, fight to get this boatload of money, butts and seats, right? Who puts on the most butts and seats for him at this particular stage in his career? Brock Lesnar. No one else comes close. No one else comes close. Not even. So to me, it's all about Brock Lesnar and him. It ain't about anybody else. It's about Brock Lesnar and him. So for me, fight Brock Lesnar right off into the sunset and do your thing. Now, Dana has his way. He'll go for 3 more fights.
Yeah.
DC has his way. I think he'll get DC for one more fight. I think, and I could be wrong. DC may want 2 fights. He may want 3, but I want myself one fight. I know the management, Dwayne Zitkin and Crazy Bob Cook, I know they want him to do 1 fight. I 100% know they're on the same line as me. They want to fight Brock Lesnar, make the most money, and then retire into the commentating life and being in front of the people. He's a celebrity. He's a real celebrity that can do something beyond the fighting. He's very appealing to the masses, and I mean he is he's a personality, man. This guy is multi-talented. He's got the heart of gold. He wears heart on his sleeve. I mean, people can admire him in so many different ways, and people can look at him with true respect because this guy doesn't hide nothing.
You said you've forgotten about the John Jones situation. You said that last year when we had a conversation about it. That's obviously very much your line of thought still, that you don't really want to go back and have another fight with John Jones.
Well, he doesn't need to, as far as I'm concerned. It's done. It's what it is. There's asterisks behind him, no matter which way you look at it, no matter how much you complain, there's asterisks. And you know what, DC, the legacy was tied to him. It's not anymore. So move on. Do your thing. Stay away.
Does that not make more money than Brock Lesnar at the moment? That fight?
Hell no. No. The money fight is Brock. There's nobody comes. There's no close second. That's the money fight. I'm sure it's a 50-75% same type of sell, but it's not as big as the Brock fight. No way.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that. What are your thoughts on John Jones and his performance? Are you just sort of finished with him as a person now after all that's gone on over the last 2 years?
No, I'm not. I didn't watch his fight, so he's a great fighter, and I'll just leave it at that. He's a great fighter.
Okay, fair enough. Cain Velasquez, speak to me. How's Cain? How's the big man?
He's great. Situation with him is all the injuries that he's had in the past. It was really nice for him to have a long break, let his body fully recover and heal, and then also, while his daughter was born, he didn't have the time to spend with the family and be there for them. And now that his wife was pregnant again with his son, he wanted to be there more. So it gave him more time to be with the family. And then when his son was born, and he was there all the way through. And then negotiations with the UFC weren't where he wanted them to be. So he was in no hurry to get back. So there was no urgency. It was like, hey, if you give me what I want, I come on board. If not, whatever. But then when his son got older, he's reaching his first birthday, Cain got that itch. He's always coming in the gym here and there. So it wasn't like he wasn't coming in the gym. He was always coming in the gym. His desire to fight was always there. It never lost. But he wanted to be there for his family. But he never lost the desire to fight. Never. It's just a matter of time. He was just waiting for that time to come back, and his son turned 1, and everything worked out, and so his manager hammered out the deal with the UFC, and now he's back, and he's improved, he's better. Don't expect to see a rusty Cain. Expect to see a better Cain than you saw last time.
Yeah,
and unfortunately for us, the unfortunate part is we're meeting a beast. Someone that I consider the toughest matchup for Cain is Ngannou. Out of all the people that are available, with the exception of Daniel, because he'll never fight Daniel. Daniel would be the toughest opponent Cain would have in the heavyweight division, but he's not fighting Daniel.
Yeah, of course.
So forget that. So the toughest opponent for him is
Francis
in my
Ngannou.
opinion, is Ngannou. We got the toughest opponent that he could have.
Yeah,
by far.
Does that sort of put you in a sticky decision? Because we know Cain wants that title. He thinks, I think he said in a recent interview with ESPN that he sort of sees it in reach. Is that sort of a reason why possibly you would like to see Daniel retire as well, so maybe Cain can get a little bit of a run? It's a bit of a selfish thing, but I'm not too sure what way you perceive that or look at that.
Well, this is the way I look at it. This is what you got to understand about those two guys. They love each other so much as friends and teammates that this is what would happen, okay? If Cain was in position to fight for the title, the heavyweight title, Daniel will drop down in weight again because he will not fight Cain no matter what. So he'll drop down in weight, and Daniel will go after the light heavyweight title or have him maintain that title. So there's never been an issue with that. So that would have been something that would have never happened because Daniel would never allow it. Kane would never allow it. And they have such a bond that's something that we're never going to ever see. If they wanted to see those guys star, then they'd have to come to the gym and watch them spar in the gym, because that's a fight that would have never happened.
Well, an interesting one then. Say, if Daniel does continue to fight on 3, 4, maybe 5 more fights, I know it's obviously a long shot, and Kane gets a good run going and gets up towards that heavyweight title contention, would we see a situation then where we'd see Daniel Cormier drop back down to 205 pounds and maybe go after John Jones again?
Yes. If Kane in that position and Daniel stuck around, that's what you will see. You will see that first before you will see them two guys fight. Never happen.
Is that something that's likely potentially then?
No. Not from what I see. Not from what I mean, Daniel's got so much going on that like I said, because look, I'm on the Daniel fighting one more fight and get out.
Yeah.
You don't need the fight. I don't care about the money. I care about him. He's got his health. Get out while you got your health and you got a good career ahead of you. I don't care that he makes another 10 or 15 mil, whatever, down the line. I know it's like shoot me on the foot because all the money I would bet. I care more about him, and his health and his management. Dwayne Zinkin and Bob Cook the same way. Yeah. They rather have him, take care of his body, take care of his health. He's 40 years, going to be 40. He's been, think about it. He really never has anything really, really super major that can affect his life. So to us, go out while you're on top. So take Brock Lesnar and roll the dice with a huge prize day, and then move on.
Yeah. What, is it a case then of Daniel sitting out and waiting till Brock Lesnar is ready to throw down?
That would be ideal, but the UFC, they're masters at what they do. They're going to try to get him to fight somebody in the meantime, because you can't hold on to the heavyweight title, and not fight and wait for a certain individual. The UFC has a lot to say with that. So I'm sure the UFC is going to be throwing opponents at him, and they're going to try to work out a deal. If Brock can't be made, I'm sure they'll try to get somebody else on the table, because the machine doesn't stop for anybody, and it's not going to stop for Daniel. It's not going to stop for Khabib or Kane. It's moving forward. So if we was to think, oh yeah, we'll just wait it out. Okay, you wait it out and you don't have a title, because guess what? You got stripped. There are rules, you have to fight. You can't just hold on to a title because you want to hold on to it and get the right payday. It doesn't work that way.
One last one for you. If you have to have a choice now, or you had to predict what Khabib is going to do next, are we going to see that rematch next?
If in MMA, if we had to have a choice, I'm sorry, Tony, but it's Conor, hands down. And Plan B, if we had to have a choice, I'm sorry, Conor, but it's Floyd. If that was available.
Come on, Javier. We got to get away from these exhibition fights now. I know it's about the money, but in terms of MMA, we got to keep it to MMA, no?
He's already got the legacy, but for me, it's about the money. From MMA point of view, the fight I would like to see is the Conor one, because in the history of my life, to be involved in such mega blockbuster fights, that would be for me, that would be the one. But the controller is not me. It's Khabib. I do not control him. Khabib will say, my name is not Mendez. My name is Khabib. So Mendez can say whatever he wants, but I'm Khabib. I control what I do. So that's what you'll get at the end. I'm Khabib. I'm Mendez. Mendez says Conor. Khabib may say something else.
Cowboy Stadium. That's my thoughts on it in July on International Fight Week. Listen, Javier Mendez, my friend, always a pleasure. Really appreciate your insight as always. Looking forward to seeing a big 2018 for you and your guys. Do appreciate the time.
Thank you. Now, thanks for having me on. I just want to mention that, hey, I want to welcome my new jiu-jitsu head coach, Ron Kessler, has been with us forever, and he doesn't get enough credit, and I just want to give him a shout-out. I have a great jiu-jitsu coach that's been on the team, and he's the head jiu-jitsu coach now, and he's doing an unbelievable job. So I just want to give a shout-out to him.
Brilliant stuff. Javier, I really appreciate the time, my friend. Speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.